Welcome to day 2 of the Hermitcraft livestream weekend. On the Twitch, not the TV, slash the Xisuma, you knew I was going to say that. Let's see how my cognition holds up today. Yesterday I just really felt, like the morningness. Hadn't done a morning stream in a while maybe, but today, got up nice and early, went for a long walk, did a workout, had some food, feel way more energized. So it should be a good, coherent live stream. Look at me with the language. Lucro, the Cheese Eater, thank you for the bananas in chat, letting me know that we are indeed live. It's dark out here. Better sleep in a bed. Don't want any creepers creeping in, blowing stuff up. Look at the terrain out here. Look at this terrain, just so different. What Cupfan's put together here. Love it. Don't know if he's got much more planned for it, but there is now a pathway connecting things. Let's actually not fall into the hole. Let's not do that. Let's walk along this pathway and see where it connects up. And by the way, the fine people on Twitter have informed me of where to go at the beginning of this stream. Because I was thinking, yesterday we had to wear an egg on our head. Should take this off. And we had to hold on to a book. But not today. I don't know where those things are. You see, I'm streaming at the same time, but Ren is streaming after me and not before me. So the whole day today is like shifted over by 2 hours. It starts 2 hours later, finishes 2 hours later. Is this a new building here? No, this is the back of this one. Okay. With the graffiti and the letters and the words. Well, the one word. So yeah, I know exactly where we're heading to today, which is cool. And we'll go over there and we'll pick up the book and we'll put on the helmet, the hat. What are we calling it? An egg? An egg on my head? I had a skin earlier this season, like Egghead Xisuma or something, where I literally had an egg on my skin. Who remembers that one? Okay. Entity Void. Thank you ever so much for the prime. I had to do some translation of all the numbers into letters there. Has this thing been updated recently? Not sure. There's a few. No, it has. There's those bits of there. There's now a building here, if I'm not mistaken. There's been a minute since it's been updated. Where is it? Yeah, look. Pearl put this together over here. Part of the TCG. We're gonna have like a TCG street at this rate. There's any more buildings popping up. We got some gifted subs from UuML. Thank you so much for supporting our community. If you hear your name being read out loud, be sure to say thanks in the chat. We've got Little Trasher, Space Lady, Caesar, Tilly the Hun, and Zan Magnus. Be sure to say thanks in the chat. Thanks you again, ML, and also James Drew 27 for 83 months. Evil X right there, 83. S1W, thank you for gifting a sub to Kilgore1311. Very kind of you to do that. And you know what to say thanks in the chat. I like the way the text is like slightly slanting over on both sides. Right, so the stream day book is right here. I don't see it where is it? No, I'm messing with you, it's right there. Do I get to keep the diamond blocks? Right, this goes on my head. This we pick up and read. Let's see what everyone did yesterday. So Ren terraformed Gigacorp Island, had a car wash, made this stream torch, worked on the ice boat race course, and cracked packs. You know what we did from yesterday. We'll have to update that again today. So Cleo did a mini base tour, some deck building, TCG games. 3 of them, in fact. And she won 2 of them, I see. So Impulse threw away some trash. Tour of the base and fixed the water door. Opened new totem shop in Ibai. Played docking TCG. Ended in the first ever draw. Interesting. Wonder how the draw happened. Okay. Tango worked on Decked Out. Shocking. Started work on the Elytra Tower cable car. That sounds fascinating. Base tour. I called a little bit of Forces base tour. Planned out the Nether tunnel to the factory. And then played TCG with Cub. Good times with Ren, nothing but TCG. I joined Ren for a couple of games. Cub then waxed and paxed. Built a road to the TCG pyramid. We just walked on that this morning. Set up fireworks. So much TCG action. And then Joe Hermit Hills wrapped up the Saturday after 3 games of TCG with Cub fan. Joe won 2, Cub won 1. So much TCG. Okay. We need like a day 2 thing, don't we? Day 2. Sunday. Let's try that. That looks kind of okay-ish, I think. There's like room for 1 more symbol, but not 2 on either side. So it looks... I mean, maybe what I could do is add in extra spaces. Well, that looks much nicer. Okay, there. Day 2, Satsuma. Russell Word, thank you for 23 months. And Lieutenant Bendy, thank you for 7. Appreciate you coming in with those subscriptions there. We are, picked up this book is the first thing we did. So what are we going to do today? We're going to work on my base. I don't know quite how to describe it. Built up sandstone pillars. And we'll add more later on. That we will do. Let's head on over there. Yeah, we're going to be building up like a big sandstone part on my base. We might reword that later and make it sound more interesting. And also on the list of things we could be doing today, building some redstone contraptions in the nether. That's actually kind of it. I've got a list if I need it of other jobs that need doing. There's always stuff that needs doing in a Minecraft world, right? You're never finished. Minecraft is a game where you're never finished. Basil T says, your obsession with symmetry makes my obsession with symmetry happy. Good for you, good for you. Yeah, so this room here. Okay, so when you last saw it, we've got to be careful of that scaffolding, by the way. There's bad stuff up there. When you last saw it, we experimented with these copper blocks, and then I was like, you know what, it looks terrible. And then I decided, I think shifting into sandstone could work well in this room. Like, we can start a new part of the base where we go mangrove and sandstone, and then somewhere else we'll go mangrove and like lush greenery. Now, also, yesterday's stream, I don't know if it was like a morning thing or just a live stream thing, but I was really struggling to figure out what to do here, and as soon as I went off camera, tried a bunch of things, got it figured out pretty quick. So, that pressure plate will have cactus. I need to go fix something. Can I get there from this bit? I think I can. Let's go fix that. All I need to do is break the block. Oh my god. I was literally going to make a joke about how, imagine if there was water up there, right? I know there's no water up there. And dang, look what happens now. Oh, just as much damage as possible going on here. Whatever. Instant mine can be rough. So that definitely was just a piece of redstone. That's no problem. Okay, then it's flushed out all of the redstone here. Okay, must also remember I need to break that block before. Dang it, it's definitely the morning. It's definitely the morning. Thanks for the cactus, I guess. Okay, I'll do this. I think since I haven't seen a single derp face in my chat until now there is. I think the second one merits a derp, okay? The first one you can forgive me. The second one, alright. You're a buffoon, X. What are you doing? One there, one here. And now that is restored to normal. Then we need to bring the redstone signal back down again. And then we got a bunch of repeaters here. This is all as should be. And really, actually, some of this here should be stone blocks too. That's the rule. Turn them into stone blocks. Then you know when you're mining around. Oh, look. I'll have some redstone on. In fact, really, it should be something that isn't instant mine, I think. Would be a better way to do it. Right, so with everything restored, I think we need to put in a torch and then a piece of redstone or two. Let's come over here. Grab our redstone block. Or box, should I say properly. Okay, some things we don't want to throw away. We're going to put them on that side. Let's fix this up. I don't think I really need to say too much more. You've probably sussed out how this works. But I'll run you through it. So, the pressure plate activates a piece of redstone that comes down here. Okay, and then a bunch of repeaters create some delay. Observers pick up on them powering and unpowering and send that over to these lamps. Now, why would I do that? Just to animate the base a little bit. So now we're covering up that area that had birchwood on it with some trapdoors and a little bit of a different colour, although you're not really going to notice that. It's not really a big deal. And then this here, and then after that, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, but it will link up with, like, whatever we build here. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to build up the sandstone pillars to the ceiling. We're going to put mud going all the way across the top, and then we're going to place some lush vinery in there. So we've got a plan. It should be pretty straightforward. Curls of Doom quoting me saying instant mine shouldn't be instant. I mean, I said that, didn't I? That was a very inarticulate way to express my frustration with instant mine in the wrong time and place, right? It happens, it happens. So, we got Baitan Daniil, the one, the only. 24 months, 2 years. We are building with blocks and stuff. Yes, we are. Then we have Chinese or Japanese symbols. They look beautiful. They're interesting. I have no idea how to pronounce your name, but thank you for subscribing. We got Warped here with the Prime subscription. Darth Zorfian here for 5 months. Emil is coming in with another gifted sub to Saint FCK Face. What a beautiful name. Thank you for gifting that sub, and as always, say thanks in the chat. Lord Scuba is here with the cheers and the biddies, saying thank you, X, for being one of my favourite content creators. Please keep up the great work. It's currently 2 AM, so I hope you have an awesome Sunday. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate you. Thank you for those cheers and biddies. So, I got a hot cup of tea, and I have not forgotten about it. I noticed it about 5 minutes ago, and I was like, it's going to be perfect time to drink. And then all the redstone shenanigans happened, and that took a little bit longer than I expected, but glorious cup of tea in the morning. First one of the day, big mug. It's one of those Sports Direct mugs. If you're from the UK, you probably know what I'm talking about. What flavour am I having? Just good old English breakfast today, on the milky side. What potion effect does the tea have? I thought we were going to make a joke about my poisonous TCG attack then. That would have been prime time for that one. Right. Yeah, my rare card, which I do not have a copy of, is currently the meta. I think that's the right use of that term in the TCG game. The most played Hermit card at the moment, which is interesting. I've really been enjoying the TCG, but I just seem to be like behind everyone else on picking up cards. Ren's idea for balancing the deck that we saw yesterday was really good. That made our games potentially really fun, but both games I just kind of didn't get the cards going, and yeah, it kind of fell apart pretty quick. Well, I've been thinking a lot about the game, and I keep trying to like find like, I always think in terms of like remixing and how could this be better and stuff, and the game that Beef has created is amazing. It's a lot of fun, but what I've been looking at is that he's had to put in a lot of work to make the base game, and then it's very difficult to sort of amend, update, change the... Well, you can change the rules, but changing the cards is tricky. So, from a balancing perspective, we're sort of like playing a first edition of the game, and it is not easy to make big changes, right? Like, recalling cards will just not work. Communication in groups is just like this. You need, if you want everyone to get on and find all of their cards so you can recall them and update them, that's a lot of work, right? I mean, there's over 20 of us hermits playing this game, and at this point we've got so many cards, some peeps are probably losing track of some of them. So if you want to make like a second edition of cards and update things, the amount of work with the map making, it's just insane. I hope in the future we can find a way for TCG to kind of be easy to update and whatnot, because then you can, you know, roll out the game as Beef has done, and then find the flaws and balance. And I've been thinking, as someone who's not like massively into card games and knows too much about them, I think what I'm seeing as potentially being the flaw is that there is actually a relatively small amount of cards. Even though Beef's made loads of them, I think for the card game to be better balanced, for there to be less optimal cards and more strategies, you probably need a bigger pool of cards, right? And for them to be slightly better balanced. And I think it's going to be really difficult to do that with the game. So basically you're playing the alpha version, says Rigard. I mean, if you say it's the alpha version, you might be implying that there's going to be another one after. What I'm saying is that, like, in order to get the game on the server and running, like, Beef had to put in a ton of work to make that happen. Oh, I guess we're going to have to go repair this pick. Fair enough, I have been digging a lot. I was digging up a lot of sandstone, as you might have suspected. So then you go and play your game. And you're never going to knock it out of the park first time and be like, oh, it's perfect, there you go, done. You're always going to see, ah, look, this card here is overpowered, or that thing needs to be tweaked. And so then, what is the cost of doing that? It's because of the nature of survival Minecraft and how the game has been put together to be played in survival Minecraft. It's just a massive undertaking to change the fundamentals of the game, which are the cards. So it can't really be done that well, unfortunately. But anyway, you know, like I feel like as I've been playing it and observing it and trying to figure out like where its shortcomings are and where its strengths are, I think what is needed maybe to take TCG to another level, or let's say refine the gameplay, is probably just putting more cards into the mix that balance out some of the OP ones and enable more strategies. That in my mind would seem like a solution, but I could be wrong. Anyways, as we wander over there now, I'm going to drink more tea, and I'm going to take some questions from chat as well. Cybot says there is a torch missing under the torch tower. Let's have a look. Looks all good to me. Yeah, I didn't see a missing torch. Yeah, I don't know where this missing torch is. I don't think there is one. Right, let's head out of here. Diddy says he's already making new cards. We got a glimpse on his last episode. Ah, okay. I know a little bit about some new cards coming. But I wouldn't say anything just yet. Do I have a favourite version of Minecraft? Not really. I'm just always happy to play on the latest one. I guess I don't do anything in particular that ties me to a particular update. Some have probably had bugs or features that were fun that have gotten changed over time. I'm just always happy to play in the latest one. Maybe in terms of an update that really changed the game or made it more fun to play. The introduction of pistons was always a big one, and I think the redstone update was another really cool one. And Alex says, we know the expansion pack will be alter egos and yours will be Evil X. Oh, that's cool, cool. I wonder if they're just going to be like cards as we know them, or if they're going to have like extra rules and stuff. We'll have to wait and see. Right. Here we are. And we need to get our swords, and then we need to turn the volume down for sure. You know I've been busy, because I've been here, like, quite a bit lately. I mean, maybe not on stream all the time, but... Here we go. Oh yeah, offhand. Always the offhand. Evil X, Hell's Knight, Ren the King. Ah, yeah, because not everyone's developed like an alter ego, have they? Not everyone's got like an evil counterpart like I do. Kaobara says, what's your opinion on gold armor and shields? They feel so extremely weak compared to every other card at the moment. Yeah, they are. This is the thing. The game has, and again, having not played a lot of card trading games, I don't really know like the whys and the why nots. But just from my perspective, it's like when there's netherite, iron, and gold armor, then obviously it's a case of you're just trying to trade up. So, you know, as you open more packs, then you can slowly replace those weaker cards with better cards. Maybe that plays out better in the real world, where people collect cards a little slower. I don't know. But to me, I see it as like, well, clearly there's a reason you're just going to go straight to netherite armor as soon as you can. So, like, can you provide more utility to the other types of armor? Maybe if you introduce a rule, like you can only have one armor card for one type of armor, then you've got an incentive to have netherite, diamond, iron, and depending on your strategy, you know, you could have multiple pieces of armor because you like using that. And then it's up to you to figure out, like, where the cutoff point, I guess, is, you know. If you think there's utility in having both netherite and diamond, but maybe having 3 armor cards doesn't quite do it for you, because otherwise the default is this is very powerful, you want 3 netherite armor cards in your deck. You have to deck build rather than just stack, says Rainman. Yes, so it's the building aspect, right? Now, that can be great in some environments. In this environment, it's just a case of, like, he who plays the most gets the most cards and then has access to more and more powerful cards, right? Maybe this plays out the same way in the real world, but here on Hermitcraft, it's like, there's a group of people I can play a match against and just know I'm going to get trounced because they'll have 3 netherite armor in their deck. They have all of these great cards, and that sort of puts me off from playing, and then that makes it harder to get more cards again, right? Yeah. X, do you think there is an important resource in this game that is too important to justify finding or farming it? For example, iron. I'm going to instinctively say no, because Minecraft is a very open-ended game. Like, you don't beat Minecraft, you do things like build this in it, right? Like, you express yourself in it. So, for me, the act of farming is a fun activity that I want to do in the game, and it serves to create like an immersive environment. It's like a feedback loop sometimes, you know. Like, you also decorate your farms and you develop the world around you. Now, you can't cheat that part of the game, really, can you? You can't snap your fingers and, you know, have something like this just be put into the world for you. Maybe the game could be modded so that, like, pre-built structures are a thing. But that's the open-ended nature of the game, and that's where your creativity is unleashed. And so, all the things that slow you down in reaching that, I think you can always look at a way to make it easier when it's not the sole activity. When grinding diamonds over and over again, like way back in the day, people forget, your tools didn't have mending, they would break and you'd need another one, you'd need to enchant it. You put in a large chunk of time just to having an amount of tools so that you could go mine blocks, and get the resources for that building, the open-ended part of the game. So in my mind, like, I think in theory you could farm everything. I think people have a knee-jerk reaction to saying you shouldn't be able to farm diamonds, and maybe you shouldn't. You know, they've got like a sort of quality about them that makes that seem a bit odd to farm diamonds. But point being, if you could farm diamonds, you wouldn't stop playing the game. You would just have a quicker route to building with diamond blocks if you so wanted to do. By the way, we get to do this right now. Actually, let's take down this scaffolding here first, because most of it is going to fall into this smelter, and I could do with doing a pass and making sure that we pick up most of that. You know you don't need to put string under those vines, you can just shear the ends, says TomzoBot. You mean the ones at the portal entrance, I'm guessing. Is that true of this update? I'm pretty sure when I did that, that wasn't a thing. Or maybe it was a thing by then. Yeah, maybe at some point I'll go and sort that out as well. Oh, I believe the stone might be falling in and getting smelted is another thing here. I can see some furnaces lighting up. Oh, okay, okay. Right, so now when we go ahead and we put in our food, not all of this is going to light up because there'll be scaffolding in it, which is what I need to pick out. So this will actually help me make it a little bit quicker. Don't have to open every single one of these. Although, it is technically a race against the clock, right? Got to grab them all. Oh, you see, I ran out of time. Now I've got to check them all. And I can't think of anything else that I need to smelt en masse right now. Maybe glass. You always need glass in this game, don't you? I've probably got some sand lying around. Wait, didn't I get a bunch? I think I've got loads of sandstone in chests at the moment. Maybe not sand. Let's do 4 stacks of sand over here. Every time I've used this, by the way, since it's been properly built, it's just worked. It's nice to not have to like troubleshoot. Sometimes you get through a build and it's like, oh, here's this problem over here, here's this problem over there. Okay, this needed doing, so glad we're getting it out of the way. Uh-huh. By the way, I can hear the pistons firing in the background, but they're very faint. Okay, that's that done. Nice. And let's just step back and marvel at our work for a moment, shall we? Hey, we got a noise in the air. Duate Destructor is here. 9 months, that's a Twitch. Baby. I love what you do. Thank you, my dude. I'm glad you enjoy it. We got Pink Girl 5704 here for 4 months as well. Saying just got home from getting my wisdom teeth out. Dang. Love your streams. Pro tip. Don't wear a white t-shirt and drink soup after you've had your teeth taken out. Hugs for Heels says, would you be willing to edit server map files to make nerfs and buffs to the TCG? That, my friend, is a fantastic idea. That might be possible, and it's something we would have to discuss as a group. I wouldn't be against it. I will bring that up and see if it's something Beef might even want to do. I want the X pack with all past Xisuma skins. Imagine, actually Xisuma rare ability could be called Shapeshifter. That's interesting. You know, like, maybe it doesn't work with the way the game's currently set up, but like in a different card game, it would be like, you know, look through your deck for this other card, then take it out and shuffle your deck and put it back on the table, that kind of thing. The in-game version of TCG needs a rarity limit, like in the online version. For example, no dupes of ultra rare cards, only 3 allowed, and 12 rare cards max, with only 3 of each allowed. Yeah, we kind of got a few of those rules, like 3 of each I think is a thing. But what Ren suggested was really good, to balance it between different hermits. Cheesius says, lol, we're doing another stream egg, or is that the same one from yesterday? It's the same one from yesterday. That is what it is. Right. Let's get some sandstone. Let's start marking out where these giant sandstone pillars are going to go. Where is my sandstone? Is it in here? Oh. See, there is some. There is some. Buddy Mountain says, someone apparently imported the TCG to Tabletop Simulator on Steam. Wow, okay, that's cool. I've got that. I've got the Tabletop Simulator. Might have to figure that one out. I'm probably also going to need a few of these blocks to begin with. So, 1, 2, 3 is the number. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it looks like... Oh, gosh. Mouth burps. Oh, God, that T's going down. Yeah, it looks like you can see the outline of where we did this before. What I did different on this side is I decided to push back the darkness a little bit more. Could possibly go back even further. Maybe at some point I could mess around with just like not even having these and like it going into a full other room. These just being big pillars between them. But yeah, it's like 2 and then 3. Except we're building it the other way, so it'll be 2 this time and 3 on the next. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is where it would go. Like 1, 2, 3. No, it wouldn't. It'd go 2. Wait. Now I'm confused. This mirroring is tricking my brain. Aha. 3 there, 2 on the opposite side. So that's where it ends. Meaning that's where that one starts. Right, and then it comes forward by 1. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, I think we've got the hang of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, what are we talking about? 1, 2, 3. 3. Oh. Oh, some of my redstone is in the way, is it? Kind of. I could possibly add blocks here to just leave that where it is. Or maybe I want to change it. Anyway, that can get popped out, that's not really a problem. And then the 5th bit is there. Interesting. Interesting! So we'll leave that alone for now, but we will start off by building this bit up, I guess. Sana of Scarva says, morning everyone, can't stay long because I need to go to bed. Well, thanks for tuning in. Of course, getting your rest is important. Let's put these in my offhand so we can see what we're doing a little easier. And now we're just doing the Minecraft grind, getting the build done. Dang, I mean, we did a few other things in this area, like remove the scaffolding, but we're 35 minutes in and we're only getting started. I love how that works on stream. It's just like, I'm going to do this today. And then it's like, oh, I've been streaming for an hour and we only just started it. Is that real? That's real. Hey, Xisuma, as an Australian, what do you think and know about Australia? I know it's a place I want to go visit. I mean, that's pretty much true of anywhere on Earth. But I'm probably quite ignorant, you know? I just know it's an interesting place, like most places are, right? What is that cursed texture pack that makes your shulkers flat in chest? Why is it cursed? I don't understand what's cursed about that. I find it very helpful. I was looking for topics to give a TED Talk style speech and kept on coming up empty, and I reminded Xisuma Says channel. Wow, that's what happens when you read the one at the top of the screen. It goes off. Can't finish reading it. Oh, am I out of stone blocks? Let's go grab some more stone blocks. There'll be some around here. Look, there you go. Ah! Kat says, I was looking for topics to give a TED Talk style speech on and kept coming up empty. And then I remembered your Xisuma Says channel. It's so fascinating to hear your takes on big and current topics. If it's alright with you, I take inspiration from one of your videos on the topic of speech. Maybe the Mr. Beast or personality one. Yeah, take all the inspiration you need. That's what it's all there for. It's all food for thought, right? I say a bunch of stuff, gets you thinking, you say a bunch of stuff. I was so confused this morning when you were late for a stream before I realised I'm an hour ahead of you. That's why we put all the time zones on the announcement image, so you can look at that and figure out what it is in your time zone. What do you think of people including y'all's characters in their D&D campaigns? I've seen people use Scar and Tango. Go for it, I say. I've never played D&D. It doesn't really appeal to me, but like, if you want to, go for it. That's cool. Right, and down we go. I mean, technically, maybe I don't need to fill in these middle bits, but I'm going to do that anyway. For Sog says, hey X, random I know, but would you like to name my Minecraft dog? Stuck for names, have too many already. I'm terrible at naming stuff. So yeah. Like, when I name characters in other games I play, it's usually just something Xisuma. Like, I had the Necromancer in Diablo 2, just called it Necrosuma. Like, I'm so uncreative. D&D is fun with the right people, says Dev. Yeah, it might be, I'm sure it is, but like, just the concept of the game just doesn't... Like, I've seen it like played and stuff, and it just doesn't really appeal to me, is all. It should be obvious though, right? Like, if you look at the sorts of things I'm into. It's like game recommendations, you know. I'll sit here waffling about how I don't like shooters, and you know, with exception to Doom. In fact, I don't mind shooting monsters. I don't like shooting people in computer games. But I'll talk about how I like puzzle games and, you know, challenges and problem solving, and then someone will be like, hey X, you should play Call of Duty. And I'm like, I'm gonna guess it's your favourite game. But yeah, it's just not my thing. The game sounds like so much fun, but it's overwhelming and way too much information, says Diddy. If that's true, just focus on the fun bit if you have the opportunity to play it. Because sometimes stuff seems like that until you start to get the hang of it, and then it's like, oh, this ain't so bad. I don't even know, like, I get the concept of the game, I don't know the rules or anything like that. Shinny Fennikern, thank you ever so much for the Prime subscription, 3 months right there. Curls is gifting a sub to Zoutwig, thank you for gifting the subs. Zout, be sure to say thanks in the chat, and Cheetah's always here for 18 months, 2 Twitch babies right there. Thank you for your continued support. Do you have a favourite puzzle game, says Tis Royale Ray? I like lots of puzzle games, and generally it's like puzzle game. At some point, like, you beat all the puzzles, right? So, or you get kind of bored with the general concept. So I just like having something new to play whenever there is. Like, recently it was playing 7 Billion Humans again, just because I hadn't played it in a while, and like the programming challenges were really fun. Infinifactory is one experience that I immensely enjoyed, but then, you know, you get like deep into the game, you get stuck, and then you kind of move on from it. That for me, that game will definitely be worth a replay at some point, although I did sort of replay it to some extent a while back on stream. I can't remember if I replayed all the levels or not, but basically played through part of the game again. Which is good, you know, you forget and then you go back into it and you get to sort of challenge yourself again. Which is nice. Alrighty, let's go play some coal blocks next. The Black Ranger PL says 7 billion outdated. There's now 8 billion peeps on Earth, right? Yeah, still a great game. And I was in a good habit of playing it. And then I sort of slowed down a bit as I found a bunch of levels where I could go back in and just kind of like figure out what I'd done wrong before and get better scores, and then I started hitting some of these like harder to figure out concepts, and then, you know, this thing happens, that thing happens. I had a bunch of stuff going on that sort of stopped me from playing it, and then I haven't jumped back in again, which I think I want to do. Have you tried Babber Is New? It's a nice puzzle game, says Rug3DO. That's actually next to play on my list. I almost started playing it the other day. I was a little bit torn as to whether I should just play it for myself or play it on stream. Because I've kind of just, I don't know, felt like doing more stuff for myself lately. Not everything has to be content, right? But then again, I love sharing the experience of these sorts of things, especially puzzles. I think they're really cool to do on stream. Let's put down a torch. It's getting kind of dark and dingy in here, isn't it? Babber is... a Babber Is You stream would be lovely, but that game is best played alone in long sessions, says Dev. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll do it that way around then. Matsubu, the one, the only. 50 months of support. Is Hermitcraft.com livestream day link brings up old information? That is correct, yes. Thank you ever so much for 50 months, my dude. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Curl says, I guess you can play it for yourself and then decide if you want to stream it or not. I tend to find that doesn't really work for me because I kind of like to capture the whole experience of like playing something anew. So if I start playing it, it probably just means I won't feel like streaming it. I'm not saying that's like rational or anything. That's just tends to be my experience of it. Day 2 new server, says Leotide. No, it's not a new season of Hermitcraft. It's day 2 of the stream weekend. Okay, let's do this. And then step back here. Uh-huh. That's sort of all we need to do on that side with those blocks. Now we need to do the floor. That means I've got to move a lot of stuff out of the way. Okay, some blocks can go in here. Some blocks need to go somewhere else. I'm running out of space. Look at this. It's terrible. Is that my sand? Oh, there you go. I can put that in there. That's my sandstone stuff. Oh, there's my other sandstone stuff. Right, now what I was doing before was putting these shulker boxes, now that I think about it, into this chest. Yeah, might want to move the chest first. A lot of goodies in there. We'll just throw it down over here for now. And then pick up all of these. Okay, and now that we've moved stuff out of the way. See, just keeping organised, peeps. Keeping organised. Always in this game do you have to keep organised. Let's grab the Doom Guy Bone Hoe. So we can wreck this. Nice and easy. Wreck it all up. Ah, yes. And then there's going to be all sorts of terrain underneath that hasn't been filled in. Of course there is. Miss B. North says, what is your favourite life advice? Do you know what? Do you know what? Okay. There's no wrong or right to these things, but with me, don't ask me what my favourite stuff is. It's like, to me, it just immediately sets my brain into like the wrong way of thinking. I find it like being asked what my favourite is makes me think I can't think of everything I've experienced all at once, and therefore I will do something a disservice by not remembering it in the moment. I don't walk around cataloguing my favourite things. Maybe with music I do, but like with most stuff I don't. So like when someone says, oh, what's your favourite puzzle game? I immediately just start, and like, I'm not blaming anyone for asking, I'm saying, I just get weird about it. I just feel like, oh my god, I don't want to, like, I love puzzle games. I don't want to say, oh, it's this one and get it wrong. You know what I mean? Like, the way to ask me questions is probably not to ask me what my favourite something is. Like, yeah, like favourite movie, I just draw blank, says Letiel. Yeah, so like if you ask me what my favourite movie is, I love movies. I've watched loads of them. I've even got some lists of movies like lying around of things that I've watched or things that I think are really good. But then immediately I'm like, well, okay, let's say like, you know, a classic like Forrest Gump comes to mind. Then I'm like, but wait a minute, there's so many more movies than just that. What if I do this a disservice by not remembering like another movie that was really great? I just don't vibe with those sorts of questions. I feel like they put me on the wrong footing. So yeah, like, what is my favourite life advice? Ugh, I don't know, like, you see, I'm always trying to absorb life advice and figure out if it's, like, useful to me or if I can adapt it or I can learn something from it. Like, I would say that life advice is like a process, not something that you categorize into favorites, although there are quotations and things that I come back to over and over again. Count your blessings being a big one, and trying to take a perspective of, like, what was life 100 years ago like. There are a few things like that, but I wouldn't call them favorites. They're just useful and they seem to come back to me often. So yeah, life advice is, like, to me, an ongoing thing. Like, you're always trying to seek out good ideas that are helpful and useful to you. And you want to be engaged with that sort of topicality so that you can learn from other people when they have things to share. But it's not something that, like, fits this idea of, like, having favorites and not for me. Just looking at chat, it seems like quite a few people are vibing with me on the whole not having favourites thing, which is cool to see. Cool to see. Glad I'm not alone on that one. It's just such a, like, a casual phrasing, such a typical way to approach a conversation, right? Oh, what's your favorite? You like music? What's your favourite band? You know. And it honestly, it's like, it's good, right? Like it has its utility, but at the same time, I just feel like I approach stuff in a different way, so it ends up being like a bit counterproductive or something for me. Okay, I'm not trying to say. I'm basically saying, look at me out. Look at how weird I am, right? Basil T says, I can only give top 3, no favourites. I read that at first, like, I can only give top 3s, which I think, oh, interesting. Like, so, like, for someone else, they might approach it in a way of, actually, when it comes to a topic, I like to, like, know what I think, you know, these 3 things are the best of. That's totally fine if that's the way you think. I'm just saying I think differently, and it's weird because I'm always in this space where people go, hi X, what's your favourite this thing or that thing? And I always just feel like, dunno. I don't know. But yeah, in the world of something like music, I was so engrossed with it for such a long time that, like, I was so obsessed with it as well that, you know, I would just naturally sort of have an idea of, like, who my favourite rappers are or what my favourite bands are, just sort of floating around in my head. They change a bit from time to time, but, you know, it's just because I was so passionate about that. Caitlin0613, thank you for 6 months. And Peter the Hobbit 1, thank you for 17 months of support. Peeps, really do appreciate you supporting us hermits over here on the Twitch. Be sure to hit the follow button to catch my future streams. They are mostly just Hermitcraft these days. Oh, I also need, like, the smooth stuff, don't I? Did I pull out the sandbox already? Apparently I did. Yeah, and of course, it's a Hermitcraft livestream weekend, which means after this stream, the action continues with another Hermit. That being Rendog, who raided us yesterday. Today we get to raid Rendog, and this will be ongoing for many hours, I think. So, depending on what you're doing with your day, you've got the option, right? I don't think we have any more smooth sand, but do you know what we do have? Oh, yes. Do you know what we have? We have this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want 8 stacks of smooth stuff. Give it to me now. This is what we built this for. Crazy fast smelting. And as I've learned, I think the ultimate, or so the optimal size of this would have for it to have been 72 instead of 64. I didn't think about doing those sorts of calculations. And then you would have like 2 or 3 collection points for instant collection. I don't mind the fact that this isn't the fastest the materials can come back to us. Because I'm the kind of player that can, you know, take a minute to stand AFK and walk about, stretch my legs, and then come back again. I don't need it, like, right away on demand all the time. So, yeah, we've got lots of these things now for us to use. Where can I see the schedule? Hermitcraft website isn't updated. You can see the schedule on Twitter. If you go to my Twitter, if you go to some of the other hermits who are participating, that is the place you're going to find the schedule. I apologise for it not being on the website. That was just kind of like a thing we forgot that we did. Haven't done this in a long time. Rendog organised this one, and it was just something that got forgotten about. I mean, I forgot about it too. It wasn't until like the day, and I was sending out the image, and then I was just like, oh yeah. We built a website for this. Dang. My bad. Right, sand is not the only material we're going to be placing, is another thing that I realised. Because we are going to mix it up with the dirt. Here's the thing, there doesn't seem to be like this perfect block that goes between these two. So you get these kind of hard lines. Let's see if chat's got any ideas or answers. Mushroom blocks. I thought about that. I didn't think they were quite the middle block. Podzol. I think Podzol's weight. Rooted dirt is a good shout. Concrete. Let's just jump over here. This is going to be so much easier to do. If we, oh yeah, this is me going, do they look good in front of sandstone? Yeah, they do. I thought they would. You know, like the green is right in front of that yellow. So let's go grab rooted dirt was a suggestion. A suggestion that I liked. We're transitioning from, I can't wait for 1.19.4. Because you get that new creative inventory. That's actually one of the best changes in a long time. Like, we always think about additions and things like that. Ooh, hello. You know, I did a little flick through this the other day, and I kind of landed on stripped birch log, but I totally overlooked these two textures. Okay, and again, we're going from sort of sand and sandstone. Did we skip past sand? Yep. Right, so let's lay out like this. Now you might be thinking that's not how you've laid it out in the world, but it sort of serves the purpose really of helping us visualize. So coarse dirt and packed mud over here. Because these are the two textures that we're working with. Okay, and now I will do a little bit of world edit. Oh, it's not what you're looking at. I forget that. Okay, so that between the two is actually like pretty alright. And then jungle stripped. Strip jungle wood or log. We'll do wood. And then that's probably one of your best right there, isn't it? That's got to be your best. Someone is suggesting exposed copper. Right, so we're going to keep that there. We're going to try rooted dirt. Cybot says it's 1.19.3. Just update the server X. Okay, we can't just update the server because things will break. And we've agreed to update to 1.19.4, not 1.19.3. Okay, so that one might be, however, it's kind of metallic. Path blocks have been suggested. It's interesting. Adds a little bit of height. Dang, there really is more options. I did not spend enough time looking. Like, I sort of thumbed through this list and did not ponder on as many options, let's say. I was maybe rushing myself a little bit too. I did try yellow terracotta and yuck is all I can say to that. Now, as for these ones, I think they're too heavily saturated for my taste. That was kind of the problem with the yellow terracotta. Maybe endstone, but it's like, it's going in the wrong direction really. So I think we've got like a decent bunch of options here. So let's set rooted dirt. Oh yeah, mushroom blocks as well. Rooted dirt definitely helps you get closer to this, but I'd say it's like a step in the right direction, but not the half step we're looking for. And then this I think is too brown, so that is brown mushroom block. Yeah, too flat. Same color really. You could mix it in this bit really well, but it's not a transitional block. So I'm going to rule out that one. Rooted dirt, I'm going to just hold to the side to remind myself. So next, let's go for the exposed cut copper. Too metallic, but the tone is probably useful. Although if you look at it, it really sort of goes to a different tint with bits of green. It doesn't go in a yellow direction, so actually, I'm going to say that's getting ruled out. The path block is a strong candidate. Hang on. Dirt path, right, that's the one. Now that kind of looks good, but I think the saturation is quite strong, and it's sort of like yellow terracotta, where the color takes too much of your eye. Maybe like the odd one would be good. What was the best one we've seen so far? Strip jungle log I think is the best. And then this block of iron ore. No, what's it called? Iron ore block. Iron block. Wrong one. Raw. Isn't it raw? Surprisingly decent, because it kind of like desaturates that on the way to this, but then the texture is just too much, too noisy, or too shapy, let's say. Okay, so we've got a suggestion to do the brown mushroom again, but go for go for that one. That is actually really good. That's really good. Wow, what a suggestion. Okay, let's... I reckon... your transition is basically this. Now, maybe you don't actually need the wood. See, not only are you competing with color, you're competing with texture a lot of the time. So the softness of this really goes well against these two textures. That's awesome. And then that's a bit more of a leap. Maybe now we should look at oak. Maybe oaks, or maybe even birch, right? Now, birch is more sort of over here. Like, maybe birch would be better there. But yeah, now I think oak is the one to go with, not the jungle wood. Or no. It looks nicer. No, it really is just that, isn't it? Now, I don't think I'm going to use more rooted dirt, so let's say we just go ahead and now start to busy this up a little bit, right? We're not going to have as much space to operate in. Interesting. That's going to be a tricky one to get used to. I think that's probably your best bet right there. I think that's really it. You can still see this solid line down the middle, I've just noticed. So like, let's crazy that up a little bit. Yeah, that's probably your best bet right there, I think. It does show though, when you add in more blocks to this game and more texture variety, you get to create more things. There's, you know, more possibilities. Ghost of Sparta is here for 3 months, and Kitsball is here for 500 biddies, saying, hey, how do you keep motivation for Minecraft? All my friends just quit after a time and I'm just left alone. Well, I have the fortunate position of playing as a content creator and knowing that everything that I do has eyeballs on it, which makes it a much more gratifying and rewarding process, I guess, you know? Like having an audience, having all of y'all here, just makes it easier. Right, I've realised now that the sandstone we got over here is like... and some of those blocks are now behind, but whatever. Can't get worried about that too much. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that like having an audience and creating content just kind of has this sort of like feedbackness to it where you know that people are going to be enjoying what you're doing, and therefore it's very motivating, and also it's kind of a routine. Remember, I do this for a job, right? Like this is what I do for a living. So I often talk about how motivation is part of a circle, right? And doing is a part of that circle too. When you start making a video, let's say you're not really that in the mood for it, eventually it comes. Like, eventually, you know, you just get in the groove, you're doing your thing, you're in Minecraft again, then it's like, oh, this thing I'm doing over here, I could do it like this, and then, there it is. There's the inspiration. It comes back around, right? Let's go ahead and... a little bit of that. Something. I don't know. I'm trying to suss it out as we go. The idea was to place this stuff so I could build off of it, and then pretty typically you always end up doing what I'm doing right now and changing the plan somewhat. Also, we don't need to go too far over in that direction. Yeah, I'm supposed to be placing these blocks at this level. God, I'm getting it all wrong. Let's try and actually do that so I make my life easier, because otherwise I'm just going to rebuild all the stone again. So a little bit of thought will go a long way here in terms of doing things properly. Maybe we'll just start at the back. Yeah, let's start from here and work our way down. Now, that's actually probably all going to be dirt, including and up to around here. So we'll start at this point. Cool. Thank you for those cheers and biddies, by the way. We've got a hydration reminder. I will take that. Let's hydrate. Let's drink some water. So Curl's put in a message saying, maybe think about which life advice has been the most important for you personally. I just really struggle sometimes on the spot when it doesn't come to me, whatever the answer to that is. But really, it's been the process of engaging with life advice. Trying to become a better self. That is the most important thing, the process. You're always going to have moments of profundity, you know, where you hear something that puts a new idea in your head. A big one for me was be of service for others. That really helped me with my relationships with other people when I stopped orienting my thinking about expectations of what was going to happen that I wanted, and just started to allow, you know, whatever was going to unfold to just be what it was. Because I realised it was like a great source of like misery and frustration, is that you seem to project ideas of what you want other people to be and do, and you know, you're not going to predict what other people do and want all the time, and then it just kind of fell into place. It was like, if I don't want these things, oh, I see what I'm. Oh gosh, I'm getting this all wrong again. If you just let people be, then all of a sudden it becomes so much easier when you don't have these expectations. And then, you know, the be of service to others was what I said. And then I've gone on to the expectations thing, which is actually not the same thing. But being of service to others is just this idea. It's similar. It's like when you're around other people and you're thinking, oh, I want to play this game, I want to do that thing, I hope we go here. You set yourself up for like a disappointment. Because in a group of people, everyone's got different things that they want to do. And so the idea is rather simple, that you're just there to, as it says, be of service to other people, right? You know, someone's thirsty, go get them a drink. Like, it's much easier to be that way around, I've found. Banian says, how does be of service to others not turn into people-pleasing behavioural, though? I would say, what's wrong with people-pleasing? Like, you can dramatise anything and make it sound bad and catastrophic, and maybe with some people those ideas do go in that direction, but the majority of us are pretty reasonable, down-to-earth people and can figure out what that means. It's pretty easy. It's just, you know, when someone asks something of you, just that resistance that you have. Oh, I can't be bothered. Oh, I want to stay here sitting on the couch or whatever. Like, why can't someone else do it? Just let go of it and go do the thing and be helpful. It's just so much easier. And it's good for you, it's good for them. Like, if you end up, like, you know, ending over backwards and doing terrible things for this idea, then you've clearly got the wrong thing in your head. It's just about the simple stuff. It's about the simple stuff. Yeah, so then we're going to transition from that to this over here. Wiggly Fox is here for 36 months, coming in with the Wiggles. Thank you, Wiggly Fox. Appreciate all you do. Thank you for your subscription. Birds and Nerder says, people-pleasing is an issue when it costs to the person doing it, e.g. agreeing to do things you don't want to do or hurting yourself trying to help others. Yeah, you got it, right? Like, I'm pointing out, like, really simple, easy examples of, like, someone asks you to do the dishes, right? And maybe you're thinking, well, it's always me that has to do this or something like that. Like, just let go of that and just be of help. Just do the thing. And you might find the day is better for it. Right? But when it comes to, I don't know, big stuff like someone's always borrowing money and it's causing you like big life issues, okay. You know, clearly there's like a time and place for this stuff, right? Where it doesn't work. And you need to be smart to figure that stuff out. But I'm just talking about the simple stuff. Go with the flow. You might be surprised how good helping others makes you feel, says Lil Spagwell. Yeah. Makes them feel good. It makes you feel good. Entity Void says, how do you deal with selfish people? I feel like I'm always having to commit 100% to something, even when I don't really want to do it. So not knowing what you're talking about specifically, I think, you know, there is power in being able to say no when you don't want to do something. But the thing with selfishness is that, like, it's really hard to sort of point that out to someone when they're being selfish. It always just seems like it's really difficult for that person to see, and the more you try, it tends to never really help. So I don't think I have an answer here other than maybe just distancing yourself from the damage it can do, right? Like, to just think of something in my own life that's like that, it's like, I had to just become less invested. You know, just sort of be like, okay, this is just how you are, and I can't be as invested because of the nature of that. Anyway, there's a message here I wanted to read out for a minute. Where did it go? Ah, Hugs for Heels, cool username, says Scar gave some great advice on the other day. Treat advice as a buffet. Consider it all, but you don't have to eat it. I really like that. That was kind of what I was trying to say a little bit earlier about it being a process for me. It's like I want to hear ideas about this stuff. I want to be challenged, and I want to engage with that stuff. But yeah, you don't have to therefore go ahead and do whatever the thing is. Right? That's not a necessary condition of it. You just need to be able to engage with it and give yourself that kind of like time and space where you do consider these things. Because life advice can be changing if it's the right advice for you. But it's really struggling here with this whole like slopiness of stuff. I think I need a bit of a different strategy as to how I'm choosing to place these blocks. The answer might be personal boundaries. Boundaries are how far you are willing to go, not how far others go. That could be it, yeah. Yeah, on the whole buffet thing, like, I'm always listening to, like, podcasts and self-help material and things that, you know, get you to think about yourself, how you are in the world, and, you know, what your problems are, and all this kind of stuff. And the act of doing so just means you find ideas here and there. You don't know when and where you're going to find them, but if you're not doing that, then you're gonna kind of be in a what would we call it? Like a stasis or inertia. You're just gonna continue coasting right at the same pace, and that can be fine. But I mean, sometimes maybe you want things to change in your life, right? And so it's going to be hard to figure this stuff out all for yourself. And there's lots of people that have walked life before you that are more than willing to hand out advice and write books about it and stuff. And so, you know, you can go out there into the world and find that stuff if you want to. Right, I think we're kind of getting to the resolve here of... Yeah, like we've left ourselves a fair bit of space for a transition between these two different spots. Yeah, that looks kind of good. So now we need to go get those materials that go down the middle, basically. Like, we've got the jungle. What was it? Wasn't there 3? There was brown mushroom, there was jungle wood. What was the 3rd material, peeps? I need some help here. Rooted dirt. Was rooted dirt? I don't think rooted dirt was. It wasn't rooted dirt. I think it was just those 2. It was, says Samedy. No, it wasn't. It wasn't rooted dirt. I'm going to go back and look. I know it wasn't, because I remember saying I'm not going to use it and then didn't. Yeah, there's no rooted dirt here. It was just those 2 blocks. Right. Okay. Somebody says oops. No worries, no worries. I just specifically remembered ruling it out. So I was like, no, it's definitely not that. Oh yeah, we don't need that anymore. Keep it organized, that inventory. Yeah, I came back here for more food. There we go. You are the only one that has ever been you. Enjoy who you are and all that is the chariot of your soul. You know a self, says pollution 808. That's a very interesting quote. I like that. It's interesting. Okay, right. Mushroom blocks require a mushroom farm. There's, as a result of like building this area, I've now like got a bunch of farms I need to build again. Like a glowberry farm? I don't even know how you make that. Maybe we'll mess around, because that's one of the things we need today. We could do a little bit of redstoning. As for mushroom blocks, I'm not even sure where in this whole system I keep them. That's a great question, actually. Where do I keep mushroom blocks? Let's go check. You have to excuse me, I've got to browse through my computer for a second. So, I know roughly where to go. Let's see. Yeah, in fact, I know exactly where to go. Season 9, storage, there it is. And then I've got a bunch of images that I look through to remind myself. Nothing's jumping out as having the mushroom blocks. Skulk, honey, prismarine, end copper, the terracotta, the quartz, the nether, then all the different wood types. They couldn't. I don't think I would have forgotten them in the process. Like, I had a very rigorous process of making sure that I got all the stuff in the game on here. Ah, okay, I see what folder it's in. Folder. It's not in a folder. It's in this one, actually. This is where they would go. So, as you can see, there are red mushrooms and brown mushrooms in here. So, this plus bone meal equals the ability to farm it. But no blocks are in there yet. So, I would like to build a farm. I was watching Etho's episode where he went back to that farm again. And it was interesting. I really like some of Etho's farms where the end goal isn't like maximal efficiency and stuff. Sometimes I haven't pursued farms because they don't seem quite as farmable. They seem like more involved. And then actually that can be a fun process. Like, how does that involvement translate? If you remember in Season 7, we made a farm for every type of fish in a bucket. And although I didn't intentionally, I think, at one point collect every single type, it was just such an interesting and different process. You had to create a custom clicker and a setup to work with it. It was really cool. Azuki15, thank you so much for your 13 months of support. Greatly appreciated. Oh, we got some cheers and biddies from Chaos My Dudes. Saying, hey, just wanted to pop in and say you're beautiful human beings and I hope everyone finds something today that makes them smile. Beautiful sentiment. Thank you for the support, my dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, every day you should laugh and smile, right? I feel like I need to watch comedies more. I don't laugh a lot. Well, I laugh when I stream at myself, funny enough. Okay. Glowberries. Glowberries was the dealio. Bone meal is obviously a part of that. Dispensers are for automation. And then we'll probably just make a clock to observe what's going on here. Let's go grab some coarse dirt. So yeah, these things grow downwards, we know that. Right, so if I chuck that in there... Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Let's now go put a second dispenser below it. See, that doesn't actually grow. You have to place that as the player to make it come down. I think. And then if I right-click... Oh, interesting. So maybe the farm is that I just stand there right-clicking while a dispenser runs. And what it... Can I, like, click through? See, I can do that. Maybe something with a minecart. No, a minecart's a bit unnecessary. You basically probably could get this slightly faster if you clicked on 2. Is there a way to automatically harvest this? What if you put shears in here? Instead of bone meal. So shears don't do anything. You do a boat and pistons. Oh, that's a Azuki, that's a good idea. I was thinking left to right, but up and down works. Oh god, this is going to be a noisy farm now. I mean, let's try 2 rails with a minecart. I'd imagine that's slightly less noisy. So, I'm somewhere here. I don't think we have to worry about the hitbox. Is it slightly less than a full block? It is actually. So you might end up clicking on the dispenser. Huh. I guess that means you want to sort of aim inwards a little bit when you go back and forth. Then we need some power. Then we need a minecart, right? Okay, then we're going to get rid of that. Did I put shears in that? Whoops. Right, the one clock does both. Okay, now the player will sit here. So if I... Let's change our mode. So if I'm going to hold down right click. Okay, I'm going to eat food as well, apparently. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was totally expecting to happen. Now, this next bit's really awkward, but if I aim slightly to the right, I might make it so that I never actually do that. Why am I continuously eating? That felt like a bit of a bug there, because it wasn't actually... Now, I don't think that's really that much faster, is it? I'm looking at the way the numbers pop up on the hotbar, and it doesn't feel terribly fast. So what we'll do next is, well, just wait. No, I need to see the numbers pop up. So, and I wish I'd stop eating. Yeah, look at this. I'm just infinite eating, and then I let go and hold down right click again, and we eat like normal. Weird. I found a bug. Anyway. I don't think that is as fast, really, is it? I got another idea. Ah! Okay, so here's my other idea. Let's grab some soul sand. Get rid of this stuff. What are we going to need? We're going to need a bit of... I think this will work. Just this amount of space. Get a water bucket. Yeah, this should work. I hope. Okay, so when I'm in here, I'm bobbing up and down, right? Bobbing and weaving. Can I click on both? Wait a minute. Ugh! I managed to do this the wrong way around, didn't I? Whoopsie. Let's try again. Right, so survival mode. Into the water. And then the eating thing again. Is that really faster? I'm wondering. What I should really do is just be like effects, give Xisuma saturation 10 seconds, you know, stupid level. Okay, now I'm also gonna pop back into here. Do that. I don't know if the block above gets in the way at all. It might actually... Adding something like above might make the bobbing up and down a little bit less. Let's go... I mean, we could add a slab, but we could also add a trapdoor. Like, if I put a slab there, I have to crouch to get in, and now the bobbing is... Yeah, look at that. So if I aim right there, and then we start to right-click... That's it right there. Look at that. Oh, wait. Okay. Let's see how fast this fills up. There might be like some weird quirkiness with like when you choose to hold down right click, or maybe when you step in to bop up and down. But I think that's going to be it. That's probably the fastest. And then there's also the case of if I go into here, maybe some items get caught at the back, but that doesn't seem to be so. Cool, I think that's possibly it. Don't hold the berries, someone said. Why would I not do that? Is that... Wait. Hang on, we're in survival. So let's go... Let's do that. Not hold the berries. I don't think that's making a difference, but, you know, there you go, not holding the berries. Keep the berries in your hotbar, but use your hand to break them. Okay. Well, I guess it keeps you eating. And if bobbing up and down in water causes you to lose saturation, then that would also be a good, like, way to eat. However, we saw there's a bug that stops you from actually eating and has an infinite eat animation. Very strange. Very strange. Okay. Okay, so we have built, you know, a contraption today that will go in the base at some point. I like how stupidly simple it is. I do not know where to put it. Maybe what we'll do is we'll put it at the opposite side of the room for this bit. So we can head over there. It's kind of close to a source of bone meal as well. Like I could shuffle the bone meal from this system around the corner. I kind of don't want to do that too much though. Like, I think that's a concept for a future season, would be to have like a central line of bone meal running through the base. That'd be pretty cool. Miranda Miller, 91 for 12 months, a whole year, saying 12 months. Hey X, question, what is your favourite biome and why? Someone wasn't here for the favourite part of this live stream, so I'll let you off on that one. I'll let you off on it. You might notice from my playstyle that I don't particularly gravitate towards a biome for a base. Like, I think about what I did in Season 6. Season 7 was actually all built around the biome. However, it was more functional driven than aesthetic. But the jungle provided some natural beauty for the base. Season 8 had nothing really to do with the biome. Season 5, I constructed my own biomes. Season 4, kind of plopped myself down on the edge of the mesa, so that wasn't really anything to do with the biome. Season 3, I did pick out the spot because it had all these like amplified caves around it, but I ended up not really doing much on the surface. I tend to get driven into interiors in this game, so I never really like synergize with a biome. Or get immersed in a biome with a build or anything like that. What am I thinking of here? I'm thinking of brown mushrooms. They're in my inventory, so I need a dirt block of some sort. And then we need bone meal. Whoops, we're celebrating now. Rightio. I'm just gonna go down to the middle over here. X, what is your favourite question from chat? Quiet, you! Trolling me. Some scaffolding would be good around here. To be honest, my favourite questions from chat are just when someone asks me something I'm interested in, right? Then I can start waffling on about it. Right, I got a feeling that might help suppress the tree height growth, and it might be that it can go even... Oh, well, that was clever. Well, I think it will still suppress it. It might be that it can go even lower than that. Okay, yeah. I don't know. Let's see what happens when we grow the next one, right? Oh, this isn't Silk Touch. Ha! I was just thinking though. Oh, that's a point. Like, I don't have a Silk Touch axe. I think. And that's kind of slow. I mean, we can get enough of these blocks from one of these for today's project, but that is something to be considered. I now need a Silk Touch axe, I think. 80s rock or 90s rock, says Tabzui Ragu. Definitely the 90s. The 90s was the best generation for music. No doubt. I mean, the list of great stuff from the 90s is just ridiculous. Then again, I also grew up in the 90s, so I'm heavily biased. But if I grew up in a different decade, I wouldn't be biased in the slightest. Do you want to know something about bias, peeps? You know, oh, you're biased. You or your opinion that disagrees with mine. You must be biased. Important lesson to learn in life. Everything is bias. Experiencing stuff is bias. Bias is everywhere. You can't escape it. Maybe in mathematics or physics or, you know, science, some parts of science, maybe we can say that's not bias, but bias is kind of a thing that's everywhere. It's the experience of being a human. It's just a bias. Let's see. So, junglewood, jungle. Uh-huh. Well, I got some in here. I don't know why I'm continuing to check. So, let's grab that. Ooh, so right around here we get to trial it straight away. Trial and error. Also, I guess I don't need that much bone meal. And I don't need rotted flesh, that's for sure. I also now need some of these blocks back again. So, like, those two? No. Oh, I did get the right one. And then some of the sand stuff, so I guess... yeah, those blocks, right? Let's go like this. Then you got to attach something to it. Now, yeah, it has to be a mushroom block. I wonder, did they change that at some point? Did they make it so that it was only a mushroom block that would do that? I can't remember. I don't remember. I don't recall. I got no memory of anything at all. Poor me with my no memory. Right, See, I know that we need a slab right about here. Ah, look. I need to do it on this side too, right? Dang, these blocks are wait. That was, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's how that was supposed to go. Now, we can't have it all on one side and none on the other, because then we end up with that awkward line again. So, like, we'll have a... We'll have that there for now, I guess. Yeah, I'm struggling with this a bit. But, you know, block at a time, I'm sure we'll get there. Don't know why the mushroom's still in the hotbar, that makes no sense. Yeah, I think this is working out. Just, it's not a terribly fast process, is it? But it's kind of looking alright. Huh, I haven't used any granite. I'll throw down a tiny bit of granite, I think. That's not granite. Hey, we had a gifted sub, by the way. Jerkrat gifting a sub to I Am Sweetie. Thank you for doing that, my dude. 3 minutes ago. Sorry, been a little bit engrossed in trying to place these blocks in a pleasing manner. Please forgive me for that. But, yeah. I Am Sweetie. Be sure to say thanks in the chat. Right, are we doing good? I feel like we are. I feel like we're getting the hang of this. Also, the natural, like, darkness of the room might help a lot. We've got to throw down some glow like in a bit, that's for sure. I feel like I haven't got as much sand over on this side. And again, it's these bits with the slabs I get a little unstuck. So then we start digging down again. Which I can do. But it's the whole following the stone contours thing. Didn't quite work out so well. Should probably do it the other way around. So... oh, I've got the wrong block selected. No worries, we'll keep it that way. Ah! That might not go too well there. Do we have... some of those. I apologise if I'm a little on the quiet side. This just really does take some concentration in order to make it feel right. It's kind of strange. All I'm doing is placing blocks, and yet it's rather tricksy. Okay, I think this is going the right way. Yeah, kind of still got this like quite harsh border over here. Just need a couple of these further back in, I think. And then we'll get there. Licky, sticky, icky, 41 months! Thank you so much, my dude! Appreciate you. Hope you're enjoying the stream, having a good time. Oh, I was just about to say, I wonder if red sand would have fit in here, but I'm like, no. But, interesting idea, maybe. Yeah, let's put that one there. Have a little bit of that come right up close to that stuff for once. Okay, and then over here I kind of want like the occasional sand block drifting out a bit. Whoops, that's not the right thing. It's kind of getting there, it's kind of looking alright. I think we'll do that here. It's not the block I was looking for, but go on. That one. Okay, and then some dirt. This thing here. I'll read that in a second. No, I'll read it out now. I was thinking we're almost done, but actually no, we're not. Oh my god, this is a grind, right? Like, please forgive me. It's just crazy old thing to figure out, this. Block at a time, though. Block at a time is really the way it's done. Oblivinator NYC is here with some cheers and biddies, saying show love. Show love. Thank you, my dude. Thank you for those cheers and biddies. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, everyone, for your support. And be sure to hit the follow button over here on Twitch if you want to catch my future live streams. They are mostly conducted here on Hermitcraft. And what else can I say? It's a Hermitcraft live stream weekend. Be sure to go check out the other Hermits. If you go over to Twitter, you can get the schedule from me. I posted it over there. Gonna put that there. It's the bits with the slabs where we get a little bit sort of stuck with this stuff, I think. Yeah, gonna need a few more slabs around here. Oh yeah, and I guess on that side too. After we put that one in. God, it's so much work for these mushroom blocks. Yeah, peeps, if you haven't swung by my website, linktree.xisumavoid.co before, please do take the time to check it out. I've been trying to create like a one-stop for everything website where you can find like other stuff that I do, like making music, playing guitar. Guitar videos are up there, pictures of my guitars. We've been cataloging all the different games that I've played, so soon you'll have like a little list you can click on and check out all the different games that I've played over the years, because people are always asking me, have you played Infinifactory? Have you played Satisfactory? You know, and it's like, yep, it's all on my channel. So there's going to be that there, and there's like links to fan art and community related things. So just trying to put all the interesting stuff related to my channel in like an easy to get through little list, and it'll be updated over time and stuff. I've just started waffling, totally forgotten what I came back over here for, and now I remember. Need more slabs. Need more of those to finish this up. So yeah, all of that's good. Then we got this bit here. You know, let's put one in like that, just because we haven't done that before. You know, just have an odd one. Why not? Why not, I say. Okay, I'm going to put one of these just straying over there a little bit, because we haven't done too much of that, have we? Looking good. Right, I like it. Same for this thing, really. Just the occasional stray one. Help a fair bit. Go on then, I was looking for the other one. They're so similar on the hotbar. I was looking for that. And then I've lost track of the jungle wood. Okay, that's all I'm going to do now. I'm like, okay, I'm good. We've done a lot of this, I'm good. We have successfully created this transition. Now what we need to do is light it up properly. The guitar collection is super cool to read about, says Slane. Yeah, there's not just images, right? There's a little bit of a description with each one. Like I got the Universe, which was like literally my dream guitar. And then I saw that they made a reprint of it, and I was like, I could buy this. And I did. Yeah, you also need some light over here. I'm thinking the glowberries are going to light things up. So on a more temporary basis, we'll chuck this down so that everything gets like lit, so that stuff stops spawning in here. Well, I'm not picking the right spots, am I? Uh-huh. So that'll do for now, I think, right? The next thing would be to come over here and make some similar changes, which should be a little bit easier because we're gonna take those ones out. I could actually leave them in, like, we could just use these here and there too. But now we're gonna come in and just try and fix up what's already here with the new blocks that we've got, which I think will be a lot easier than what we've been doing. So we'll just throw these things in at different spots where it seems right to do so. Oh yeah, and we got the jungle wood as well, let's not forget about that. Yeah, I think ripping out some of the coarse dirt for a couple licks of the jungle wood probably makes sense. Oh, look at that, look at that. There's a spot where they can spawn. Okay, so down at this level... yeah, go on, we'll just leave that little bit of texture poking out. And I'm even going to leave that little bit on the side there. Feeling a bit lazier on this side. Also, there's more granite over on this bit, so kind of tells a bit of a different story. Let's go with these blocks. Right, we are powering through, peeps. I really want to get to the next bit. I'm not sure if we're actually going to have enough time. What is the time? 1:30. Oh no, we will have plenty of time. Okay, great. We're going to do some great things real soon. Just stick around, peeps. Bear with me. Okay, those blocks. Let's go with this one. Oh, run out. Dang, I didn't think we would run out of those. Okay, then do the jungle logs. Looking good, looking good. Yeah, just need like one more over here, I think. Nice, maybe just throw one in that space. Nice, okay then. Wow, right. Let's take a step back. We have done work today. What do you think, peeps? Is it good? What do we feel about the ambiance so far? Definitely going to need lighting around this thing. And I feel like I definitely want to put in some more of those nether bricks. Lots of good feedback in chat. Looking sweet. Oh man, I get some sweet, do I? That is a good sign. Now that'll go in the log chest, I guess. That's what that. Oh. Ladders. Not so important, are they? Very nice, X. Says Bread Tab, thank you. Looking good, says DB Tongue. Fifth Alice says love it. Excellent, excellent. Where's the grey one gone? There's the grey one. So now I need to find my nether brick supply. Well, there's 4 in there. So I do need to start using symbols on these, because I'm going to use all of this with my new storage system. Wow, I must have really used up those nether bricks. Let's just take this with us. I'm basically gonna... Oh, that was the wrong thing. That was the wrong thing. I'm basically gonna fold all of this down now. Was my thinking. So that means that bone meal can go back over here. Right, yeah. Ah, oh, gosh, what happened there? No. Dear Lord, right. Yeah, let's pack all of these away. It's kind of a good... It's like a healthy thing. Even though I'm still in this area doing stuff, it's kind of healthy just to fold it all back down again. Because you keep, like, bloating your boxes with... Like, you pull out a box because you need one item out of it or something. And then it just sort of stays there. So you want to be able to just chuck stuff back in and be like, okay, let's hit the reset button on that. So for what we're doing next, we need the mud blocks out of here. And then we'll have to move on to the glowberry stuff. Okay, so I'll take that one, and then we need the nether bricks. So I'm going to break down these 2 things. Pick up that, and then we're on our way again. Nice. Organisation, peeps. All about that organisation. Oh, I've only got that. I thought I had way more. Well, lucky for us. Lucky for us, we got a super smelt, alright? Looking at those lamps as I walk past, like, come on, light up, light up. We've got a message highlighted here. Ice Pick, would you ever consider selling creative use to your music for people to use for streaming? I'm going to give it away for free. I'm not going to sell it. My music will be copyright free or whatever, where stated. I'll figure out what license it needs to be published under. And, yeah. Anyway. Let's now get something. What did I come down here for? Oh my god! My brain is so slow. I came down here for netherrack. Don't tell me I've got none left. We need to smelt 8 stacks of that. Yeah, so glowberries for the ceiling. Mud for the ceiling, sorry. I don't think I need to pick anything else up while I'm down here, do I? Probably not. I'll probably be back in a minute. Creative Commons, says Palautian. I don't know if Creative Commons is the one. Is it Creative Commons 4.0 might be a good one to license it under. People think with music it's like copyright free or something, or royalty free just means you can use it, and it's like, no, it's way more complicated than that. It's like what happened with Mumbo and all of his old intro music. The artist told him he could use the music, but the artist never licensed it all correctly, and so then the holder of the original copyright came after people on YouTube who were using it, which was kind of their right, really, because it was their music. But this artist had used it without actually clearing samples and doing what you're supposed to do. I know all of this because, when I was first trying to publish my music many years ago, I found out pretty quickly, oh, it's not straightforward. I brought a big, royalty-free sample pack thing, and then found out by it being royalty-free didn't mean it's free to use or anything, right? It has all these licensing quirks for when and where you can't use it. And it's easy to be really dismissive of that stuff and be like, it's nonsense, but it's there for a reason. It just tends to sometimes get misused or be misunderstood is the bigger problem most of the time with copyright stuff. It's easy to think, like most things in life, it's easy to just think, I'll get rid of it all, it's useless, this copyright stuff on YouTube or whatever. My favourite content creator got a strike, but sometimes actually these things are necessary, and it would be a lot more chaos if you didn't have these. I'm not saying like copyright and stuff is perfect, but it serves a purpose at least. And sometimes that purpose gets abused, but just throwing it out of the window wouldn't make much sense. Oh, looks like I need a lot more than I thought I did. Tom Scott did a really good, well-rounded video on copyright, says Typically Thomas. Yes, he did. That was one of those like videos that was just like knocking it out of the park, and you're just gonna remember that one as a viewer. You're just gonna be like, dang, you really like nailed it with that explanation. Tom Scott is an amazing creator. I've literally been following him for like 10 years. I think I've watched every video front to back. Maybe not so much of the stuff he's done recently with like branching out with podcasty type content and the longer form stuff, but just what a great, like, got a great presentation style that's just really held up well. And just does loads of interesting stuff all the time. And he's been doing it for years. Really good. Okay, I think I want maybe a couple more of those. And then slab the rest and put in some glow lichen somewhere. Tom Scott is great, learned a lot from him, says Diddy. Yeah, learned about many fascinating things. When I like travel, I always think of like the videos that he's done, and like there's all these sort of like interesting places you wouldn't know about that you now want to go to. He literally started doing radio in uni and kept making content ever since. Really impressive. Yeah, that is. One of my favourite, or I wouldn't say like a favourite, just a memory from his content that really like sticks out to me is when he talked about having this sort of like impromptu public meet and a load of people gathered around him, and then all of a sudden he had to like go into Tom Scott mode and like entertain everyone. I thought it was really like interesting because like you don't think about how a content creator is different IRL or like has like a different sort of state of being when not making content. And then yeah, like people, he's saying like, you know, people sort of expected him to just be there as if he's like in a video telling you a bunch of fascinating stuff. And I always thought that was like an interesting little thing or whatever. Sam Cat says 45 minutes ago, yeah, I don't really have favourites. Now, yeah, one of my favourites. See, this is why I don't like this kind of like meme talk over the internet. I see it so much, all this like condensing of information to make a little punchline against someone. Like, I felt like I spent ages articulating why I don't say that. And then, I'm pretty sure as I said it, didn't I just make a remark of like, well, you know what I've said about saying favourites. Like, I said it was a favourite, and then I sort of said, well, not really. Like, it's just something that got stuck in my head. It's the language. We all use this language of talking about stuff in favourites. Like, is it my favourite moment of his? I don't know. It's just one that got stuck in there because it was a really interesting tidbit. There's other videos of his where I've been like, whoa, this was so much fun. Maybe I watched it twice. Maybe that deserves to be a favourite. I don't know, but it's the language of it. It's okay to say the word favourite, X, says Andalex. I know, it's just a tripwire for me because I feel like it's such a big thing to say. So like, if you ask me who my favourite band is, well, I ain't got no problem answering that because I know it inside out. But when it comes to all this other stuff, like, I don't like the ambiguity. Is this thing 5 wide? How did that? Interesting. Ha! Do you know what that means? That means that all of this is technically off by 1 block from that side, but do you know what? I don't care. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. I'm not sure. Did I make that decision consciously? I remember counting the blocks in this area. I think I made it consciously. But yeah, it's actually off. Huh. I wouldn't want to change everything, because then I have to rip out all of this, move it over by 1 block. Totally not worth it. And I think I want this thing to be an odd width anyway. So, up we go. Up we go. I hear what you're saying, X. Memes are fun, but sometimes the joke messes up the communication that inspired it, says BreadTab. You got it spot on. Yes, like, they seem very reductive in the moment. Like, so many meme jokes and stuff seem to, like, really strip out a lot of the content around something that's being discussed. At least that's maybe the way I interact with it. It's like, it's very reductionist and oversimplified, and I'm much more interested in learning the bigger picture than I am some quip that's like a short joke. You know? Right, I need to hydrate, I need to drink some water. I think I need to sit down for a little bit too. Like, I've been stood the whole time. I actually feel really good. My legs yesterday, like, from all the walking in London, they were like sore at the hips, which is not what I expected. Like, my hips felt awkward all day. And then I think I sat a lot to rest, so I think that might have made it worse. Good stuff. As you host the Hermitcraft server, do you host it locally or use a server hosting provider? If your host is on a server hoster, which one do you use? We use a server host. Doing it locally only makes sense if you're going to play locally, I think. Otherwise, you're just not going to have great connectivity. Carl says I would be sitting after 45k steps too. Yeah, but I feel like it aggravated my hips more than it helped. Like, standing is better for my posture than sitting. But you do need to alternate. Like, everyone knows their own body, right? And it's my hips that are sort of tight. And that's where I had my old running injury as well. And so that's what gets, like, when I sit, that's where I feel it, and I really felt it. So today I've kind of avoided sitting and I feel pretty good. I've got some noises in the ear. We got fluted with the Amazon Prime and horned Astrologer for 3 months. You love the content. Good to hear it, my dude. Good to hear it. My hips hurt all the time, but I jumped off a 1-story building when I was like 9. Unrelated, I think, says Lightly Lucid. Well, I would say this. How much stretching are you doing to, like, combat that? Like, how much mobility work are you doing? Because you can open up your muscles when you work on them. You can stretch them and give them a better range of motion, make them stronger if you work on them and whatnot. So if you're getting pains all the time, you got to just identify that whatever it is you're doing in your day-to-day, like, that pattern of behavior can be changed and can result in your body ultimately feeling different as a result of that, right? Like, what have I been doing recently? I've really... Okay, so I part of my mobility routine, I learned what ostrich walks are. Okay? This is like a dynamic stretching technique for your hamstrings, and I've always had tight hamstrings. However, in recent years they've gotten better, but then I found this, and, like, it took it to a whole other level. Like, I have been doing ostrich walks every single day for, like, well, not every single day, but since the beginning of this year, I've been doing it 90% plus of days. And now, like, you know the whole thing about touching your toes? I can go way further than touching my toes. It's a really good little thing to do, and because I built it into my daily routine, I've been doing, you know, 40 reps a day, something like that. And now I do them with my arms even wider, so my body, like, goes down further. And I'm feeling it in deadlifts, I'm feeling it in the leg press, I'm feeling it in anything revolving with my hamstrings. I've just got this, like, increased range of motion there. Right? And that's because I've done the mobility work. So I've, like, actively found something to target a weak spot and then improve it. Like, I'm saying you could do that with your hips. I haven't really found great stuff for my hips as of yet, but I should probably just keep looking for things, you know, keep trying and experimenting. Also, I talked about sitting down and I haven't done it yet. We've got like 10 minutes left, let's sit down. God. Probably a good idea to do that and rest a little bit, because I'm going to work out and then cook after streaming. Standing for more than 5 minutes without walking makes my back hurt more than it already does, says Andalex. Yeah. I used to have lots of back pains when I'd go to shows and whatnot. I mean, everyone's individual, but like, it might not map that way, it might not correlate that way, right? Like, for me, standing was not the source of my back pain, it was sitting all day in like an awkward position that did it. And it wasn't until I started actively stretching and working on those muscles that I was able to improve. Sounds a bit counterintuitive, but you got to remember, like, humans, our evolution. Okay, we didn't spend like 0 time sitting. We probably would have sat cross-legged before the creation of chairs and stuff, right? But did spend a lot of time upright. And your body is designed, you know, evolved to spend time upright. So you know, it makes sense. Standing still for a long period can be an issue. Swaying in a place a bit should help though. Strengthening the muscles and working on the proper bone alignments are key. Yeah, one of the things I did that helped me a lot at first was learning to sort of tense your abdominal muscles and rotate your hip when you stand. Like, you rotate your hip inwards and it sort of corrects the curvature in your spine. And when I learned to do that at shows, I could just stand for so much longer. I used to get exhausted at festivals and stuff. I would just be like wanting to sit on the ground in between bands and stuff. But then when I learned to do that, I could stand for so much longer. Like, that was a posture correcting thing. You know, I was sort of standing slumped with a curved spine. You know, the whole idea of like standing upright, looking straight ahead with, you know, your head up high above your shoulders, like, there's a reason that stuff exists, is because it's the better posture for your body to be in. I think squatting is the natural position, sitting isn't, says Mermicorn Queen. That might be, yeah, it might be, I don't know. Could well be. We got noises in the ear, we got an arc here for 60 months! Evil X in the house! Welcome to the club, my dude. Thank you so much for your support. Heimakun says, sorry, how is the exercise called? I'm interested. The one that I talked about wasn't related to your hips. The ostrich walk is the hamstring stretching exercise. It's a dynamic one. And as always, if you're interested in trying it, remember to start out gentle. Don't push yourself, like, don't go into pain. You're finding your edge, and you're just going near it a little bit to begin with and getting comfortable with the movement and doing the movement right and whatnot. Hip turning is something I learned too, and it's amazing how you feel that that's the way the spine should curve, says J Mamas. Yeah. It was really quite profound when my mate showed me. It was like a sort of instant thing, because I was moaning about having back pains at like a gig, and then almost straight away, like, just learning to do that just kind of immediately relieved some of the pain, and then the more I did it, like, the easier it got to stand for a long period of time. Fascinating. Right, what we really need to do, actually, is make sure we're ready to go hand over to Ren, which reminds me that in this book that we got right here, we need to fill out our page. We've got to make it sound good, because we've basically been stuck down here. So I think we're going to keep our sandstone pillars. We designed a glowberry farm, which wasn't a lot of work, and then we have used mushroom blocks for sand/dirt transition. So we're showing off we're doing some creative stuff here, you know, designing redstone farms and using blocks. And Ren's the next hermit. Let's get Ren set up on here too. And then he can do whatever he wants with this page, right? But there you go. It's all ready for him. Rambling PJ, thank you so much for 34 months of support. It is appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Also, doing the pelvic tilt while sitting helps take pressure off the curve of the lower back. The way I sit in my chair, because I've got a Herman Miller, it kind of just naturally supports the way your spine sort of meets the back of the chair. So if I try and pelvic tilt, it just sort of unsits myself on the chair. It's weird. So maybe it doesn't really like translate the same way when you're using a Herman Miller. Alrighty. Yeah, so I guess my next grind is to just get in all of this mud across the entire ceiling. Crazy amount of mud. I could possibly even leave it as stone, but you know, I decided just to do it this way. Because that's the way we're gonna do it. X, which Herman Miller do you have? I have the Aero, or whatever it's called, you know, the definitive one, the one that you see in movies. I mentioned that on stream again, and someone said it's like the effect of learning something and seeing it, but like, every movie I've watched since then has this chair in, and honestly, like, once you know the design of the chair, you will see it in movies. It really is like the gold standard. If there's some sort of like corporate office, there's a high likelihood they're gonna have Herman Millers. And so like when you're watching a show that's filmed in an office environment, it's just a high likelihood it's gonna be the Herman Miller chair. It really is like quite ubiquitous. Maybe you need to get a better chair that supports the sitting position, says Entity Void. No, I've got the best chair for the sitting position. Like, this is the best chair you can get. It is the most ergonomically sound for sitting on. It's designed for you to be able to like sit in for 10 hours at a time and not get back pains and stuff. I've just found that it helped me immensely with, you know, just all kinds of back pains, body aches and stuff, because I used to just sit on a cheap office chair that was brought from like some local store that had like no ergonomic consideration, and it helped like undo a lot of that. But then I wanted more. Like, once I sort of reached the limits and I would still get a bit uncomfortable like sitting for hours on end, I was like, well, what else can I do? And then I learned about standing desks and eventually got a first I got a mechanical one, now I've got a motorized sit-stand desk, and it was just like another level up, really. It was like, okay, I'm much fitter and healthier now these days, and I can stand for hours on end if I want to, and that's what I do. I do the standing. And it feels good. Oh, alright, Ren is ready. What is the time? We've got 5 minutes. Okay, I'll start making my way over there. Just place the last of this little patch of mud. Tidy up our inventory and stuff and get over there. Okay, that's the way down. Which chair is this? Says Corona. It's the Herman Miller. I think it's called the Aeon or something. It's like their gold standard. They made it in like 1993, and it's just still the best chair you can get for sitting on. Joe showed us his folding chair yesterday, says 8webs. I mean, that concerns me. If you spend a lot of time just sitting on a basic chair, like... One of the big problems with this stuff is relativity as well. Like, you're always relative to your current experience. So, like, if you're used to sitting in a bad posture and you sort of tolerate, like, there's always discomfort with everything you do, right? And you tolerate it. Like, you might not realize just to the extent of how bad it is compared to what it could be. That's a really tricky thing to figure out, though. Like, how do you tell? Right, so I need... Hang on, let's put this back. I think I'll go AFK at my witch farm again. Just keep getting that redstone pumping in. I just looked up the picture of the chair and you're alright, it's in every movie, says Gruto. Well, I'm impressed that you can just see it for the first time and then know it's in every movie, but Like, if you familiarize yourself with that design, you will just start seeing it everywhere. As I said, it is ubiquitous. It is like gold standard. Herman Miller chairs are not exactly achievable for most people, says Rahifa. I know they might seem like they're not, but I think you have to think about how you spend money. Because there are some things in life that we are okay with spending lots of money on, and other things that we sort of default to thinking it's too expensive. A chair is one of those things, and a bed is another one. So, like, I think that you should probably invest a lot of money in a bed, because you sleep on it for 8 hours every day. Like, a large part of your life and your body rests on that thing. Like, to not spend, like, it's an investment in yourself. You know? Shoes is another one we're getting a suggestion for in chat. Interestingly for me, I have just gone to Barefoot, some cheap sort of barefoot trainers, and they have just been amazing. So maybe not everything correlates directly to price, but you get the principle, right? So if you work a job where you sit on a chair for like 6 to 8 hours a day, and it seems like an inordinate amount of money to save up and spend $1,000 on a chair or something, but like consider how much time that is every day. If you start, I like to break things down. Like I've got a treadmill, and since the day I brought it, I was like, okay, like this run today costs 500, but then the one tomorrow costs 250. And I did that for quite a long time and I like sort of calculated that like running on it was like £1 at some point in time. These days, it's probably down to pennies, like every time I get on it, and it's just brought me so much, like, goodness. You know, like, I love getting on there and exercising, and it's good for my health. So I see it that way. It's the same with the chair. It's like you've got to think about how it extends over your lifetime and what it contributes to.
What's happening, baby? What's happening?
Ren, I was deep in the waffles, man.
Hey, man.
I was lost.
Oh, that's okay.
I was talking about chairs and trainers and beds.
I've been watching your stream all morning, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was watching yours yesterday.
I was watching a stream while I was in the shower. It's kind of weird, but you know, there you go.
How do you, like, does your iPad not get wet or something?
No, like I have a little shelf pretty high up where I just put my phone up there, and then I can. Cool. Yeah. Actually, I've just disturbed myself. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Fair enough.
Oh man.
Hilarious.
I see the egg is back.
Yep, I'm wearing it.
Is that the... Okay. Didn't change the torch then, did we? We just go with the same old torch for day 2? Okay.
This was here, so I figured, okay, we'll roll with that. And who keeps
just in case you didn't know. By the way, just in case you didn't know. Here's the stream book. Just in case you didn't know.
It's not here. I've got it.
Like the signage is so.
Yeah.
Xisuma, the book is here, man.
I was making this joke of like I'm looking over there, like zooming off into the distance. I don't see it.
Yeah. It's like, where is it? I don't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe. Gotta love a Joe, hey?
Yeah, I think Joe's very aware of how oblivious I can be. So he wanted to make it crystal clear. That is a good
point, actually. Xisuma has been known to walk straight past something.
Yeah.
That
I'm intentionally looking for, you know?
Yes,
Ren, where are you? That kind of thing.
Ah, yes. It brings me back to the Sky Factory days when you walked past many a silkworm.
Oh, yes. That was a great little series that we did.
That was great, man.
I miss a bit of modded Minecraft, you know?
Oh, I miss it. I miss it all the time. I played a little bit of Create in December. It was just so awesome.
Yeah, I've played some too. Man. It's good fun.
Yeah, dude. Maybe there's a spot somewhere this year for some modded.
We've got to find it. Maybe, yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, man.
I think the time to do it is between seasons. We had a season break, and I think that's going to become a tradition. And then the next season break, it's going to be like, let's do a modded thing together.
I agree. I think that's a really great idea.
Hopefully we can do it.
Well, exactly. We've still got a lot to do in this season, though. So,
gosh, yes. So much. But I'm going to send my peeps over to you now, all right?
All right, sweet man. All right, X, have a great rest of your day, my dude.
I'm going to hop through here, say goodbye, and then raid you. Hope you enjoy it.
All right, sweet.
Take care, man.
See you, X. All right, guys.
I got one more noise I needed to thank. Idi Ilik Vahala, thank you for your 9 months. That is a Twitch baby right there to round the stream off. We're now passing it over to Ren. I'll be raiding him in chat. So a big thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated, and cheered. As always, I appreciate all of your support. Big thanks to the mods and the Patreons and all the people gifting subs. And anyone that I forgot to say thanks to. I mean it ever so much. Appreciate all you do to support us. And now I'll send you over to Ren. That's it. Take care, everyone. Bye.